Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another remote episode of Code Blue News. I'm Matt Messina.
And I'm Brianna Graziano.
Firstly, our counselor Miss Munroe has made a YouTube channel. Reporter George Starr has more on the story.
So Chewy, it's time to meditate. You don't want to meditate? It's really, really good for you. It can totally help you deal with stress and make you feel better. Just look at Darth Vader. He likes to... I know, he's scary.
Hey Bulldogs, did you know that Miss Munroe has started a YouTube channel? Yes, that's right. Miss Munroe has a YouTube channel made to help students and parents with mindfulness. Miss Munroe's videos are quick 5-minute tips highlighting a certain daily topic. The schedules include Mindfulness Mondays, Trivia Tuesdays, Wellness Wednesdays, Thankful Thursdays, and to finish the week off, Fun Fridays. Each week is different and has a specialized theme. These could be focusing on sleep, wellness, relaxation, and even gratitude. I think this is a great idea to start a YouTube channel at a time like this. It's really smart too. I mean, we're all familiar with YouTube, so it's not going to be that hard to be able to watch her videos. So take a few minutes out of your day and visit Miss Munroe's YouTube channel. You can also contact her via school email if you have any other questions for her. This has been George Starr for Code Blue News. Thanks for watching.
Holbrooks' tax deadline has been postponed till June 1st. Niall Horgan brings us more on the story.
Due to the recent COVID-19 outbreak that has swept across America, sweeping changes have been made from town to town. The closing of businesses, the requirements of wearing face masks in public, and now towns are also changing the rules around their taxes. The town of Holbrook recently changed their deadlines and some of their rules regarding these taxes.
Obviously, everyone knows that it was early March, mid-March, when COVID-19 really hit the country. So at that time, the Board of Selectmen took some quick measures to declare a town emergency. And the governor, obviously, we followed the governor's order on March 10th. And we figured that a lot of people were going to be unemployed. And the fact that people would be scrambling to file unemployment claims. So it was a decision from the Board of Selectmen to make that decision to ease the burden of the taxpayers. And, one less thing that they would have to worry about and have the opportunity to put their claim in. So May 1st it was due, and we pushed it off till June 1st. Hopefully, as we can start to see things slowly get back to normal in the news, we won't have to do that any further. And right now we're talking with our legislative delegation and town accountant's office and town clerk's office and in the administration on getting a town meeting, a date scheduled for that. We're looking at a lot of different options. Also, our town election was scheduled for April 4th. That's been pushed off, so we've also been working with the state and the town clerk on that. So those are just a few things that we've been doing in the Board of Selectmen's office. And, we're all in this together, and we will get through this as a community.
That's all for this week. I'm Niall Horgan. See you next time.
Recently, Governor Charlie Baker has ordered all Massachusetts residents to wear masks outdoors. Reporter Andrew LaRossi has more.
During one of Governor Baker's press conferences, he announced that starting May 6th, residents are required to wear masks when going outside when social distancing is impossible. You can fashion a mask from multiple things, or you can buy one of the standard ones, like the N95 mask that I'm wearing here. The mask requirement shouldn't be surprising, as Massachusetts is third in the country in cases and deaths. However, things are appearing to slow down here, as daily cases have stagnated and are looking towards a decline, while testing has been going up. Massachusetts tests about 10,000 residents a day, and Governor Baker said that the testing will continue to go up. Whether he begins opening up the state on May 18th is still to be seen, but the social distancing, and now the mask order, has started to slow down the daily cases. The months ahead will be interesting to see for the state. This has been Andrew LaRossi with Code Blue News, signing off.
The various levels of shutdown advisories and orders have led to some recent protests across the country, and CBN reporter Vin Nguyen is here to talk about it.
the past month, people across the country have been protesting the government's lockdown orders in response to the current COVID-19 pandemic. It seems one of the protesters' main grievances is lost jobs due to non-essential businesses closing. Aside from folks concerned about the economy, the protests have also attracted many far-right and other fringe groups who feel the government is infringing on their rights. However, their desire to open the country back up goes directly against recommendations of many health experts and those who follow the guidelines. Naturally, these protests have created some controversy.
I don't understand why people are just going outside. The government is only trying to do what's safe for you. They're only trying to protect you, and people are protesting, trying to get out there to do things they shouldn't be doing, like interacting with other people in public, or they're not social distancing, they're not wearing their masks.
I think that the protests are kind of showing people's selfishness and maybe ignorance. There's nurses and first responders and firefighters and police officers that are on the front lines of this virus every day, and risking their well-being and the well-beings of the people that they love and the people that they live with, and sacrificing so much to keep us all safe. And there's people who don't believe that they should be heeding the guidelines set out by the government and the CDC.
We will cover more as the situation develops, but
that's all for today. This has been Vin Wing with Code Blue News.
This past Wednesday night, the guidance department held a virtual junior parent night for any curious parents and their junior students. Here's Matthew Messina, myself, with more. On Wednesday night, Miss Killian, Miss Moriarty, and the rest of the guidance department held the first virtual junior parent night to give the parents of junior students information about college. Since quarantine has changed the registration process, Miss Killian briefly described it.
But as of right now, the College Board is going to administer tests every month until the end of the 2020 calendar year. So that means for juniors that September or August, September, and October are really going to be the main dates that they need to be taking them. But they're not releasing the registration dates until the week of May 26th.
Then, Ms. Killian discussed the coronavirus effects on college applications and preparing for senior year.
A lot of schools are doing the virtual info sessions, and those are things that I am posting on that junior Google Classroom. If you guys want to be, if any parent wants to be a part of that classroom, I can invite you with the code. Absolutely. I believe some are already on there. Uncertainty with standardized tests, forget which school it was. Maybe it was BC. I was on some webinar and they said, well, no, we're not, we will never go test optional. We're always going to require standardized tests. But for juniors, that's a really kind of a scary thing because it's so unknown right now. So that's why just kind of staying as up to date with the information as you can is super important. And then every school is going to have a wider lens regarding grades because every school, every community, every high school, every state is doing things differently. So those are all things that schools are going to have to take into consideration. And that said, I think it's very important that they remain as well-rounded and, kind of have as much to offer as they possibly can outside of grades, just to kind of make themselves stand out. But
there was a brief section on how to be a positive presence on social media.
Being a positive presence on social media was super important because in 2015 seems like forever ago now, but college admissions officers will Google kids. Mm-hmm. And they will go on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and look for kids and see if they're posting, things that they don't want to be part of the representation of their establishment. So making sure that you are private on certain apps and that you're also using it in a positive way to follow the schools on Twitter and things like that you're interested in. If Northeastern's your number one school and it's kind of a reach school, but you follow them on Twitter and you interact with their posts that are relevant and you email with the admissions officer and kind of post about things that Northeastern values, like those are all good things to do.
Then there was information about financial aid and scholarships.
When you do apply for financial aid next year, the portal for FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, opens October 1st. The earlier you apply, the better. And you apply with your prior tax returns. So in 2020, you'll be applying with your 2018 tax returns. That sound right? Yeah.
Prior.
And think of it like a big pile of money. The first people in there to apply get the most. So the sooner you apply, the better.
There was a section for do's and don'ts for parents.
Listen to your kids, remind them of deadlines, don't make decisions for them. If they say, I want to apply to UCLA, and you're like, well, you're not going there because I would never pay for you to be flying across the country. Well, I always say, well, don't make a problem you don't have yet. Like, they haven't even gotten in. So have the argument with them about flying across country once they get in. That's just my motto, but they'll be getting hundreds of reminders from us, but please definitely remind them of deadlines. Talk about restrictions up front. So, a lot of times kids say, oh, I can't apply to that school because it's way too expensive. Okay, well, here's where this public versus private comes into play. So yes, private schools, Merrimack, Stonehill, things like that, are schools like that are generally more expensive than your UMass Boston, UMass Amherst, Framingham State, things like those schools like that. But they're private schools with much more money to give. So it is not unheard of or not uncommon to see private schools, after scholarships and grants and things are put into place, to be cheaper than a public school. So no, you can't apply to Merrimack or you can't apply to Stonehill. It's way too expensive. I don't have that kind of money. I would make the conversation more, listen, please apply. But if you get in, we all need to be on the same page that you can't accept your acceptance until we talk about financial aid and see what the different financial aid packages are. So definitely don't put restrictions based on, what Miss Moriarty always says, sticker shock, which I like that. Like, they all cost a lot of money. So wait and see what they give you.
The meeting was unanimously helpful for the parents involved, meaning it likely won't be the last meeting of its kind. Good luck to the class of 2021 as they approach college. This is Matt Messina. Back to you in the studio.
Since we'll be doing remote learning for the rest of the school year, parents should check their My School Bucks account for a possible refund. CBN reporter Dominic Costa has more information.
Because the remainder of the school year will be completed through distance learning, parents should check their child's My School Bucks account. Refunds for school meals can be requested through a form found in the HMHS Weekly Update email. Also included in the email is a form which can be completed to receive a refund for the spring athletic fee. If you do not want to request a refund, the balance will remain for the next school year. Through these forms, you are also able to donate your balance to a student unable to pay their fees, or transfer your balance to a sibling or relative. After a form is completed, it may be submitted to the business office. This has been Dominic Costa with Code Blue News. Back to you.
Lastly, are llamas the key to solving the coronavirus? Nick Chaffee is here with more.
Llamas, Mrs. McCann's favorite animal, and probably half of the reason for why the Ecuador trip happened, are now slowly becoming key fighters within the fight against coronavirus. This is a bit of good news, to say the least. Any glimmer of hope to solve the pandemic, I mean, it's worth a look at, right? Let's take a peek at this and see what's up with the llamas. Let's go over the current situation we have with what we have regarding treatments. The latest prospect is a drug named remdesivir. There have been many clinical trials, and a few are shown to prove the drug's effectiveness in the recovery phase of many COVID-19 patients, being a big assistance to the immune system. This isn't a cure, but it's proof drugs can combat COVID. Thus, this can segue into the current prospect, winter. Not the season, but the llama. Winter is one of 130 llamas located in a research farm in Belgium, where typically they've been used for antibody research against cousin coronaviruses like SARS and MERS. Thus, they are now being used for novel coronavirus research. Why are llamas of all animals being used? It is because they create a different type of antibody called nanobodies. Nanobodies are a type of antibody that are the foundation of many drugs and can be used to create various remedies to various human diseases. With the use of nanobodies, they can get into smaller spaces that human antibodies just cannot. So the llamas, namely Winter, was found to have an antibody that had the capability to neutralize forms of coronaviruses, like SARS and MERS. Plus, llamas in this scenario are easy to work with because they are domesticated. With those two aspects of favor, researchers are currently working around the clock studying the llamas and the effects the antibodies have on the human body. Many studies have found that the nanobodies can attach onto human antibodies to be stable, which is progress. This is the only bit of information I could find though, this is still quite early development. So what could this mean in our war against the virus? The llamas will be used to find solutions to the virus. Through antibodies, patterns can be found and therapies for the virus can be used like drugs and vaccines. The main idea for the use of llamas is to allow the llama's antibodies to enter the human bloodstream through injection and allow the work of the antibodies to be done. More research is still needed on this as well. So what is to be made of this? Llamas are still a work in progress, but they deliver much promise. Many drugs and prescriptions are being found and vaccines are promised to be made in 12 to 18 months. Overall, the fight against the virus is still going on, and llamas may play a large part in our fight. Until then, remember, stay at home, wear your masks, wash your hands, and stay safe. This is Nick Chaffee. Until next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching another episode of Code Blue News. I'm Matthew Messina.
And I'm Brianna Graziano. See you next time.